Welcome to the channel and thank you for joining us today as we dive into one of the most astonishing, mysterious and conversation-sparking discoveries in the world of rare coins, a story that captivates collectors, treasure hunters and enthusiasts who believe that even the smallest and most ordinary-looking coin can hide extraordinary secrets, because today we are exploring the unbelievable case of the 1989 1-cent coin that has been rumored, discussed and highlighted in collector circles. For its unbelievable price tag of $13 million thanks to a set of bizarre, complex, layered, and extremely unusual minting errors and mistakes that transformed what should have been an everyday piece of pocket change into one of the most coveted, debated and intriguing coins ever associated with numismatic lore, so settle in as we unravel every possibility that might justify such staggering value, breaking down the structural anomalies, striking inconsistencies, planchet issues, die malfunctions, composition irregularities and mysterious circumstances around production that collectors say could make a 1989 penny worth more than luxury real estate, rare art or high-end vehicles, because while the world sees a common copper-plated zinc coin, serious coin specialists insist that certain rare anomalies in the minting process from Denver that year have created some breathtaking oddities whose uniqueness, rarity and survival against all odds could explain why one particular specimen is believed to have fetched a number as astonishing as $13 million, so imagine holding a tiny 1-cent piece that weighs barely anything, has been passed around unnoticed by countless hands, hidden in a drawer or jar for decades, yet within its design and metal lies a combination of mistakes so dramatic and improbable that its story has become the stuff of numismatic legend. And that's precisely why collectors and enthusiasts are fascinated by the idea that this 1989 penny might contain a staggering cocktail of errors such as double striking, misalignment, off-center impressions, rotated dies, planchet splits, clipped edges, broad strikes, die cracks, cud breaks, dramatic die deterioration, wrong planchet strikes, transitional composition mixtures or even experimental metal contamination, all of which have been claimed to exist in rare 1989 minting runs. And while each of these errors individually might add moderate value, the idea that a single coin carries multiple severe abnormalities at once is what turns a small piece of currency into a treasure capable of commanding millions, because seasoned collectors know that the most valuable coins are not simply old, they are freak accidents of physics, machinery, human oversight and minting chaos, born from split-second rare events that escape detection and survive distribution, traveling unknowingly through the world until one sharp-eyed collector realizes that the dull brown coin in their hand isn't ordinary at all but is instead a once-in-a-generation anomaly. So let's unravel what makes the 1989 cent such a fascinating candidate for extreme error combinations, starting with the year itself, because 1989 marked a period in which the Denver Mint was transitioning equipment, adjusting to evolving quality control protocols, recalibrating pressure systems and dealing with increased production loads, and whenever production volume surges, the chances of mechanical failure or operator oversight increase exponentially, especially in the creation of billions of coins, so any small defect in a die, planchet feeder or striking mechanism could create inconsistent pressure, uneven metal flow or overlapping impressions that leave the coin with distorted lettering, double date digits, wandering mint marks or partial design elements appearing where they should not, and such abnormalities, if extreme enough, can elevate a coin from interesting to priceless, which is exactly why collectors speculate that the legendary $13 million specimen might carry a dramatic off-center strike measuring more than 50%, combined with a complete reverse rotation, where the back design is turned at a shocking angle compared to the front, creating a disorienting mismatch that instantly tells experts that something catastrophic happened during minting. And to add even more intrigue, the coin is rumored to exhibit a powerful double die obverse where the Lincoln bust. The date and the inscriptions show clear doubling so bold and crisp that even casual observers would notice it without magnification, something exceedingly rare for 1989 since most double dies of that era were minor and barely visible. But what truly pushes this coin into mythical territory is the possibility of a wrong planchet strike, because imagine a penny accidentally struck on a foreign coin blank, maybe an aluminum or brass mixture, or even a dime planchet composed of a copper-nickel alloy. And if a coin somehow received a penny design on metal intended for another denomination or country, collectors immediately recognize that as a monumental rarity, especially if the wrong planchet error coexists with major strike errors, making the coin an unnatural hybrid that should not exist, yet somehow escaped into circulation, and that mystery is compounded by the fact that 1989 D is not usually associated with such exotic errors, making any extreme example even more valuable, and that value skyrockets when stories circulate that one particular coin displays dramatic die cracks sprouting from the rim like lightning bolts, or a massive retained cud where a chunk of the die broke off, leaving a raised blob of metal on the coin's surface that warps the design in unpredictable ways, making collectors stare in awe at what looks like a deliberate sculptural alteration even though it was purely an accident. And such die breaks are already collectible, but when combined with overlapping strike mistakes, irregular planchet metal, misaligned obverse and reverse designs, and unexpected weight deviations, we get a coin so unprecedented that it becomes more of a historical artifact than currency, and that sense of impossibility is what makes the rumored $13 million price tag feel believable to enthusiasts. Because rarity in coins is often measured not only by how many exist but by how unlikely they should exist at all, and a coin containing 3 or 4 extreme errors is already rare, but one containing 6 or more is practically unheard of, almost like lightning striking the same place repeatedly, and collectors cherish such pieces because they represent a moment in time where everything that could go wrong did go wrong at the mint, yet the coin survived destruction, detection and melting, becoming a numismatic miracle. And that miracle continues to fuel theories about why a 1989 D1 cent could ever command such an astronomical number, with some enthusiasts speculating that the coin may also have been part of a transitional composition experiment where the alloy mixture briefly differed from the standard copper-plated zinc formula due to contamination in the melting vats or leftover metal from a previous run, producing subtle coloration differences visible under certain lighting conditions, from unusual rose-gold hues to brassy yellow tones. Something experts examine under spectrographic testing, and such composition errors can multiply value significantly when verified, and then there is the wild but persistent rumor that the $13 million coin shows a full brockage, meaning it was struck against another coin instead of a normal die, transferring a mirrored, incuse impression from one coin onto the other, creating a phantom or ghost-like design on one side that should never appear, making the coin visually stunning and unmistakably rare. Especially if combined with other anomalies, and imagine the reverse of the Lincoln cent appearing backward, sunken and perfectly mirrored, as if the coin contains its own shadow trapped in the metal, and collectors who see such a brockage instantly recognize it as a major minting malfunction that seldom escapes destruction, since mint workers usually discard such dramatic mistakes before coins reach the public, but if even one slipped through, its rarity would elevate it into legendary status. And thus the idea of a 1989 D penny showing a brockage, double strike, off-center impression and wrong planchet composition becomes so extraordinary that the value could feasibly reach millions, especially in a private auction among high-end collectors who are willing to pay unbelievable sums for pieces that exist in near singularities, and if one adds rumors about die rotation of more than 100 degrees. Partial design disappearance due to grease-filled dies where certain letters or numbers are missing or faint, or thickness deviations caused by improper metal rolling, the coin becomes even more mystical, because flawed dies filled with lubricant can cause letters like Liberty or I in God We Trust to appear ghostly or partially erased, making the coin feel like a glitch in the minting matrix, and such dramatic missing letter errors are often sought after passionately, especially when combined with other defects, making the coin a masterpiece of minting misfortune. And that's why collectors theorize that the $13 million valuation is not just based on rarity but on the layered combination of severe, bold, unmistakable errors that create a coin unlike any other from that era, and while most 1989 D pennies are extremely common, produced in enormous quantities and usually found in worn condition, the existence of a single extraordinary example transforms the entire year into a topic of fascination, prompting collectors to check their change, search bank rolls and dig into old jars hoping to discover another impossible masterpiece, and this hope fuels the treasure hunting